Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is me Arham Freelancing Wala and I am a student of Rehan Ai Teachers Training Institute batch 22. Today I am going to talk about how less can lead to more. So I am going to connect our AI assistant ChatGPT. Just give me a second. Hi ChatGPT, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing really well, thank you. How about you? How's your day going so far?
I am also fine and thank you for your asking. Today we have a very special topic how less can lead to more. So I am just asking you few questions regarding this topic, okay?
Absolutely. I'm ready. It's a really important topic, so feel free to ask me anything, whether it's about psychology, statistics, or just examples of how this plays out in real life. What's your first question?
My first question is what if having less is actually the secret to having more of what matters?
Ooh, yeah, exactly. I think what you're getting at is this idea that minimalism or intentionally having less, whether it's possessions, commitments, or even mental clutter, can actually create space for more fulfillment, clarity, and meaningful experiences. It flips the traditional idea of more being better into more intentionality being better. Does that align with what you were thinking?
Absolutely right. And where in my life I am adding more but feeling less fulfilled?
Yeah, I think a lot of people go through that. It's so easy to get caught in the cycle of, more achievements, more stuff, more tasks, thinking it'll bring happiness. But sometimes it's that intentional pause, reducing, simplifying that opens up space for the deeper kind of fulfillment. What kinds of things are you thinking about scaling back on or exploring in that way?
Right. And what I am afraid will happen if I choose have less?
Yeah, that fear is really natural. I mean, it's kind of this uncertainty. What if you lose security or what if you worry you're missing out? But sometimes that fear actually shows you what's important. Like you start to clarify what really matters. So maybe it's about taking small steps, letting go of one thing at a time and seeing how it feels. Does that sound like something you could try?
Alright, got it. And what does enough means to me? And do I already have it?
That's a really personal question, and I think it varies for everyone. For some people, enough is about having financial security. For others, it's about time, relationships, or just a sense of peace. So maybe ask yourself, when do I feel truly satisfied, or when do I feel like I'm enough? And you might already have a lot more than you realize.
Right. And which part of my life feels heavy because of too much?
That makes a lot of sense. When everything piles up, whether it's obligations, stuff, or just mental clutter, it can feel really draining. I think it might help to identify one area to lighten first, just a small, manageable step, and then see how that shifts your sense of balance.
Alright, got it. And what would my 80 years old self tell me to let go of today?
Ooh, I love that perspective. I think your 80-year-old self would probably remind you not to sweat the small stuff. Maybe they'd say, let go of the things that weigh you down so you can make space for what really matters connection, purpose, and peace. I think they'd encourage you to trust yourself and let go of the things that no longer serve you.
Alright, got it. And how has more failed to make me happy so far?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is that more is often a distraction. It keeps you busy, but it doesn't necessarily feel that deeper sense of meaning or connection. So even when you get something more, it can feel fleeting, like a quick spark that fades. What do you think is missing beneath all that striving?
Absolutely right. And what belief makes me think I need more to be worthy?
Yeah, that's a big one. I think a lot of us have this subtle belief that more equals security or validation, that if we just reach a certain more, then we'll finally feel safe or enough. But it's kind of a trap, right? It keeps moving. So maybe the shift is recognizing that worth and security come from inside, not from an external tally of stuff or achievements.
Yeah. And if less more, what should I subtract first?
I think a good starting point is to simplify your priorities. Maybe ask yourself, what truly energizes me or what aligns with my values? If it's time with loved ones, creative pursuits, or rest, let those guide what you let go of first. And remember, it's a process, no rush.
Yeah, right. And what is the hidden cost of keeping everything?
Yeah, that's a big one. I think the hidden cost often shows up in our mental energy. We get stuck juggling things, stressed by obligations, and we don't even notice how it drains us. It can also keep us from saying yes to new opportunities or moments of freedom. So sometimes the cost is really just that precious time and space we lose.
Yeah. And how would my life change if I owned 50 less stuff?
I think you'd probably feel a lot more spacious. You might have more room to breathe, more time for the people or passions you actually care about. Your days could be less about managing stuff and more about being present. It doesn't mean everything changes overnight, but that clarity and freedom could start to reshape how you experience life.
Yeah. And if I had to move tomorrow, what 10 things would I actually pack?
Ooh, that's great exercise. I think it would be things like essential documents, maybe a few sentimental items, a few versatile clothing pieces, maybe a laptop, some kitchen basics, things that keep you grounded and supported. If you really pared it down, it would be what you absolutely need to feel safe and functional. What do you think would make your top 10?
Right. And how many duplicate items do I own and why?
Ah, that's a big one. Usually we end up with duplicates in categories like clothing, kitchen gadgets, or digital files. We keep extras just in case, but often they just sit there. So maybe look for patterns. Are you buying similar items or do you keep things you never really use? Once you spot them, it's easier to get go.
Right. And which room in my house makes me anxious? What I can I remove?
Yeah, that's really worth tuning into. Think about which room you walk into and instantly feel weighed down or overwhelmed. Sometimes it's a cluttered home office or maybe a crowded storage space. Once you pinpoint it, you could remove a few key items or reorganize it so it feels lighter, and that might really shift how you feel in that space.
Alright. Am I buying things to fix emotions, not needs?
Yeah, that's a really common pattern. And I think it's super insightful that you're noticing it. Sometimes we reach for stuff as a quick comfort or a way to fill a gap. If that's the case, it might help to pause before you buy and see if you can sit with the feeling first or find other ways to self soothe.
Right. And how much money is stuck in things I never use?
Studies show that unused household items can have a real cost. Each square foot of space taken up by clutter can cost about $10 per year in housing expenses. On average, a US household stores around $7,000 worth of unused items, and people often spend days each year just searching for lost things. So, freeing up even a small area can really help reduce both financial and time costs.
Alright. And what could I borrow, rent, or share instead of on?
Ooh, that's a powerful question. I think it's worth thinking about those things you rarely use, maybe a power tool, a camera, or even clothes for special occasions. If it's something you only need once in a while, borrowing or sharing not only saves money, but also keeps your space lighter. What kinds of items come to mind for you?
Right. And how does clutter in my space create clutter in my mind?
Yeah, it's really interconnected. When your space is cluttered, your brain kind of mirrors that chaos. It's harder to focus, you feel more scattered, and small tasks take more energy. Once you clear out that physical clutter, there's a kind of cull. Your mind feels clearer and you're more in control. So it's like a ripple effect: clear space, clearer mind.
Alright. And what would one in one out rule do for my home?
That's a really simple but powerful approach. Basically, every time you bring something new in, you choose one item to let go of. That way, your overall volume stays balanced and you stay intentional about each addition. It's kind of a natural filter for what really matters, and it keeps your home from ever feeling too crammed again.
Alright. And how many apps on my phone do I actually use weekly?
To check how many apps you use weekly, it depends on your phone. On an iPhone, you can go to Settings, then Screen Time, and view a breakdown of your usage by app for the last 7 days. On Android, go to Settings, then Digital Wellbeing, and check the dashboard to see your app usage over the past week.
Alright. And what would happen if my internet
Ah,
died
gotcha. So
in
once you see that
approximately for
breakdown,
7 days?
exactly. Once you track that for a week, you'll probably notice a few apps that you barely touch, things that take up space or attention without adding much value. Then you can decide what to delete or even which habits you want to change going forward.
Alright. And lastly, ChatGPT, what message are you giving to my audience regarding this topic?
I'd say take it one step at a time. Remember, having less isn't about deprivation, it's about making room for what truly matters to you. So be kind to yourself in that process and trust that simplicity can actually lead to more peace, focus, and fulfillment in your life.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, ChatGPT. You have a great day. And again, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I'm really glad we could talk about this. Take care of yourself, and if you ever want to revisit or chat again, I'm
All
here.
right.
Have a wonderful day.
So everyone, thank you so much for watching my channel. That's all about this topic. Must be like, comment and share. मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में. अल्लाह हाफिज़.